Welcome to episode 12. Yay. I
Welcome.
think. Yeah, this week was a lot. And so we wanted to start by saying take a deep fucking breath and calm
A
the fuck
deep
down.
breath.
We do not want you to spiral. We know you're spiraling, and we're all going to be okay. Okay? We're all going to be okay. The season of cancers are here. We've got it. We will take on all that emotion for you. Don't you even worry about it. Okay? But we have so much to go over this week, so we're going to jump right into it. All right.
And we're gonna start off with a bit of a sad story. Afa Alu, he was the shooting victim in Salt Lake City. The innocent bystander who was unfortunately shot while three peacekeepers were attempting to go after a man who, Arturo Gamboa, who was allegedly aiming a long rifle, assault style rifle, according to reports, at the large crowd. So, in an attempt to save many, unfortunately, Afa Alu lost his life. That does not make it any better. It's hard. So you can read about that on our Substack. I will be updating that tonight with as much information as we know now. And please do visit our Substack with that because I have included his GoFundMe, which is also on our TikTok. You can find it there. Please, if you can, help Afa Alu's family. Please do. He left behind 2 children and a wife and many, many people who loved him. He was actually a rather well-known fashion designer and a very kind, loving person, according to everybody who people who reached out and spoke to me, including a young person who was marching alongside him, who witnessed the whole thing. And that kind of trauma changes your DNA. And that's not an exaggeration. It literally alters your genetic makeup to the point that it can change your future offspring. So I am so sorry to everybody who had to bear witness to that event. It is long-lasting trauma. I implore you to seek mental health care, to talk to somebody, to talk to a friend, to talk to Chat GPT. Don't just do not sit with it, please. I beg of you, because your mental health is too important. Moving on to Vance Belter. He is the alleged assassin of Representatives Melissa Hortman, her husband Mark, their dog, and the attempted assassin of John Hoffman, his wife Yvette. And she took the bullets that would have also harmed their daughter Hope. So you can read more about that as well on our Substack. And I must say, JD Vance, you might want to go back to James Donald Bowman, because the name Vance will forever go down in history as an assassin of a Democratic House representative in Minnesota. A mass murderer, Vance Belter, because he had a list. He had a list. And the only reason 2 other homes, 2 other families were not victimized in this process is because they were not home. He stopped by 2 other homes in between. He stopped by 2 other homes. And the only reason they are alive today is because they were not home. And the only reason that everybody else on that list is still alive today is because Governor Tim Walz kicked motherfucking ass in getting together everybody and anybody. And after a 2-day manhunt, very quickly, effectively tracked down Vance Belter at his residence, essentially, by stopping his wife at a traffic stop. So thank you. Thank you, Governor Walz, because I know you lost a friend. I know you lost somebody very important to you. Somebody very important to Minnesota, somebody very important to our nation. And Melissa Hortonman had left behind children, had left behind family. And you can read about her impact on their lives. Sorry, this is a lot. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. Us millennials, we are so used to the trauma, aren't we? This one is not at all funny, but I have to laugh. Kevin Krebs, Krusty Krab, arrested from a No Kings rally in Westchester. Sorry, that was Kevin Krebs. Kevin Krebs allegedly had on him, quote, a gun, knives, magazines, ski mask, gloves, and spray. At his home, police claim to have discovered at least 13 explosive devices for a massive event of some kind. And I'm sorry, if you look at his mugshot, the very first thing I thought of in addition with his name, Kevin Krebs, was welcome to the Krusty Krab.
Oh my God.
I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. But if we have no dark humor, we have no humor at all, and we have no way to make it through this horrid existence that is life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the Kevin Krebs.
Kevin Krusty Krebs. Oh boy. Well,
Wow.
let's talk about something that should be setting off a lot of alarm bells, because when we talk about authoritarians and dictators, a lot of times they do things secretly, undercover, and not very loudly and in your face. So let's talk about something that's happening very undercover. So the Department of Veteran Affairs changed their internal anti-discrimination policy. So before it would say that, doctors couldn't deny care to veterans based on things like politics, marital status, whether or not you were in a same-sex relationship. They couldn't discriminate, meaning if somebody showed up, doesn't matter what their political party was, what their marital status was, you need to give them care. And now that has been deleted and replaced with a vague line saying that staff can't discriminate against legally protected classes is the new lingo, which means political affiliation and marital status are not a legally protected class, like gender, race. You get where I'm going. So now if a veteran walks in to see a doctor and that doctor is, let's say, Big MAGA, and sees that maybe you're, wearing a Harris Walls bumper sticker on your car, and goes, I don't want to give you care. There is no there's no legal way for you to go after that doctor for doing that. Now, the VA's explanation for this is that they are just aligning with federal language and nothing has really changed. So if nothing changed, why remove the wording? Especially right after Trump signed an executive order aimed at purging woke influence from the healthcare system. So this is what we mean by a lot of things will be in your face. And a lot of the in your face stuff is a distraction from things like this that they do secretly and they hope nobody sees it. And right now, we're seeing a lot of things hit veterans directly. We have seen that over the past 140 something days in this administration. They are coming after veterans, but they are doing it quietly because they don't want to be known as the administration that single-handedly kills veterans. No, they just want to secretly do it. So this is where I would tell you, if you know or are a veteran, you should be up in arms about this, and you should be calling and asking for better explanation than that, because that's not an excuse. It doesn't work. And if you are a veteran, just please be aware when you're seeking care that this could potentially happen. And unfortunately, if it does, there is no legal pathway for you to go after them. which sucks.
Always doing that shit in the fucking
In the dark.
in the middle of the night and in the dark, where
It's usually the veterans.
I'm over it. Always, they hate veterans. They hate veterans, and that's kind of a segue. We're gonna follow a timeline here that leads up to present day that started with a shitty birthday last week for the dictator in chief. So immediately after, the G7 summit happened. So the G7 is Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the United States. So it's a grouping of those countries where they come together. We're going to talk about economic type things, trading, all the good things that make the world go round. While at the G7, Taco started sundowning. He started saying, you guys treat Russia so bad. We need to bring Russia back into the G7 and make it the G8 because that's important, right? So afterwards, he abruptly left. Got out of the G7. It was in Canada. They came here, came back home because Israel was doing a preemptive strike on Iran. A preemptive strike, aka they're just attacking them for absolutely no reason other than they feel like it, because Benjamin Netanyahu has been crying wolf for 30 years saying that Iran is so close, just so close to having a nuclear weapon. But there's no proof of that. And back in 2003, there was a no proliferation treaty where Iran had suspended their nuclear program. So, does it sound familiar? Does it sound familiar? No? Okay. Well, we'll keep going on the timeline here. So they left. He, had to have his dramatic meeting with all his other war criminals about how they're going to handle Iran and how they're going to help out Israel because United States of Israel, right? So first we had Tulsi Gabbard. She was saying back in March initially, she said, Iran doesn't have nukes. So I don't know what we're talking about. Trump was asked about it. He said, she's wrong. My director of national intelligence, she's wrong. Doesn't make sense. But of course, now she's backtracking, and instead of spewing the Russian propaganda, she's spewing the Israeli propaganda and saying that, yeah, we should totally fuck them up. Real weird, right? Eventually, throughout the week, the Iranian government, they were telling us that they will not surrender, and they threatened the USA with irreparable damage if we were to get involved in this war that Israel had started with Iran for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than they want to expand their territory in the Middle East. They're like, let's be real. That's what it is. Benjamin Netanyahu's a dictator. He's a tyrant. He's an authoritarian trying to be a conqueror. Fuck that guy. We also got some comedy throughout this week because Tucker Carlson became the voice of reason somehow. Somehow, Tucker Carlson was the voice of reason when it came to the topic of the Israel-Iran war. He did an interview with Ted Cruz. He asked Ted Cruz, does he even know the population or the demographics of the people of Iran? Ted Cruz, looking like a fucking fool, said he doesn't know the population. He doesn't know, he knows absolutely nothing about Iran. All he knows is that daddy said we should bomb them, and I like that. Tucker Carlson gave him the stats, gave him there's about 90 million people there. He gave him the demographics. He said, why don't you know anything about the country that you want to topple and overthrow? That was hilarious to watch. But Tucker Carlson is not your friend. He is not one of us. If anything, that makes it more sus because Tucker Carlson knew what he was doing while he was at Fox. spewing propaganda, saying things that don't make sense, lying, and now all of a sudden he's just clear mind and knows. No, no, do not trust that man. Also, in the meantime, there were diplomats that they're starting to leave Israel. Trump is saying that he doesn't want a ceasefire. He wants a complete and total victory. And he's getting interviewed out in the front lawn. They're putting up fucking flagpoles in the middle of on the verge of a war. They're talking about putting up flagpoles. Oh, also they're 88 feet. If anyone knows the significance of that, the 88, Hail Hitler. That's their thing. A lot of dog whistles right in your face, right? So yeah, he was talking about the flagpoles. He said, I might bomb them. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. Find out next time on the next episode of The Apprentice. So eventually we get to the point where it's blatantly obvious that the U.S. is going to attack Iran. Thomas Massey and both Bernie Sanders, they both come to the floor with wartime or anti-wartime bills to essentially rein in Trump, that because you cannot declare any type of war, attack on a different country without the approval of Congress. But yes, there is also a loophole where they would be able to, 60 to 90 days
90
that
days.
they can call. So there's a loophole. You can have 90 days to attack another country.
Bush used
He
it.
didn't even do that. He
No.
didn't even do that. He just said, fuck it. So eventually after they said, hey, here are these anti-wartime bills. Trump said, nah, I'm going to bomb them anyway. So we finally get to Saturday. Yesterday, we can't even have a fucking weekend. We can't even get time to relax. People were having their birthdays. They were outside having fun. And we get the news that the U.S. has struck 3 nuclear sites in Iran that we don't have proof that they have nukes. Still. But they're calling them nuclear sites. Now they have uranium, but
Which is
nuclear
legal.
weapons, we don't have proof of that. But after all the crashing out and everybody freaking the fuck out, we're going into war now. We're all pissed off. We wake up this morning to find out they missed. They dropped 3 30,000-pound bunker busters on these so-called nuclear sites, and they missed. There was nothing
Fucking miss
there.
me with that shit.
There was nothing there. And you know why they missed? Because Donald Trump spent the entire fucking week talking and posting on social media about attacking Iran.
Maybe not.
So they cleared out their stockpile because he was telegraphing to them for an entire week saying, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Benjamin really wants me to get in there, so I think I'm going to do it. Yeah, no fucking shit. They're going to clear out their fucking shit. So we are now in a conflict.
Freaking like Obama being like, hey, Osama, I got some peeps coming your way. Hey, look out. Wink, wink. Could you imagine?
And then you fucking miss. We're in a war with the Middle East over hitting nothing. We didn't hit anything. Nobody died. There's no flames. There's no explosions. They bombed a fucking empty
sand.
3 empty areas. They bombed a bunch of fucking sand. The no war president of peace, doesn't even have fucking aim. So, MAGA,
he can't keep his yap shut.
I fully expect you to be at your enlistment office tomorrow, Monday morning sharp. with your fucking hat on, saluting, get your fucking combat boots, get your fake fatigue because you guys love to fucking cosplay
Bring
as
your own
fucking
weapons.
service members. Yeah,
BYOW.
You want to play Call of
QA
Duty
so
in real
much.
life?
Here's your
You want to play Call
fucking
of Duty in
time to
real life?
shine.
Do it.
Here's your time to shine, Cupcake. Get out there and fucking
Get out
fight for your
there.
country. Fight for America. Fight for
America.
freedom.
Freedom.
You stupid
Eagle
two
screech.
teeth having mayo milk toast ass dumb bitches.
And don't get me
I'm
wrong,
done.
I am like so happy that people were not hurt because of his complete and utter lack of military intelligence or otherwise.
His lack of
Oh, yeah.
intelligence is what saved them.
And
That's what I'm
Marjorie
saying.
Taylor
Like,
Greene.
I'm glad.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is also the voice of reason, saying this is not
Oh
our
my
war. You got
God.
the fucking Neanderthal making sense. What fuck? I don't want to fucking agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, here the fuck we are. I'm so mad. Okay, I'm done now. I'm upset.
That's totally valid. That's totally valid. All right.
Crashing out all
So,
over
okay.
again.
But what is the good thing, Devin? There is something good that's
There is
coming out
good
of this.
things.
That what after Marjorie Taylor Greene?
No, before Thomas Massey.
Oh yeah, Thomas Massey also. He introduced the anti. It was co-sponsored. They have 45 co-sponsors, and we will get into the people who didn't sponsor it later on. I'm not
We will
happy.
give you a sneak peek that one of them is
One of them surprised me. I'm
one
not
of them
happy.
surprising, and one of them is not surprising, and it just adds to the shit list that Devin has going.
Yeah. So I'll crash out again.
So that is our war update. We will be back next week for another war update.
Here's your war update.
Part
War
1.
correspondent right here.
All right. Now, if you are not already following Dr. Rubin's Substack, please go there. Please follow him. He does amazing work in making sure that everybody is aware of all of the different things that are going on. And on top of it, he is making sure that RFK Jr. is being held accountable. Yeah, it is bullshit. Basically, he is making false claims about the credibility and the credentials of the new vaccine panel members. And here is what bothers the fuck out of me is when he was sitting there in front of all of Congress and they were asking him all the questions. One of the things was, are you going to fuck with the vaccine board? He's like, no, I'm not going to fuck with the vaccine board. Of course not. But you know what he did? He fucked with the vaccine board. So that right there, revolution, impeachment, I don't know. Just call your fucking people and be mad. Call them directly, 202-690-7000, 202-690-7000, because, oh my God, I can't anymore. I can't with this fucker. I can't. Also, at the same time, there's fucking measles in Washington, D.C. There's fucking measles in Washington, D.C. Gee, I wonder if they're goddamn related, because they're wondering if the MMR is connected with autism. Oh my God. Oh, we can't have autistic children. That's terrible. They're never going to grow up. They're never going to grow up to pay taxes. Sorry, I forgot which old man I was trying to embody. He's the one that does heroin. I can't, people. I can't. And I have to tell you, I was not vaccinated as a motherfucking child. Guess what? I'm fucking autistic.
She said, breaking news.
Breaking news. I was not vaccinated. And I'm autistic. I flap the hands and everything. I can't, people. I can't.
You know what? I think it's Joe Biden's fault.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Joe Biden. Kitty's autistic.
So for the love of God.
It's Obama's fault. It's
It's
Biden's
Obama's fault. To be fair, it's fucking Trump's fault because I didn't find out until after. But anyway, actually, no. Wait, I guess it was Biden's fault because I found out during his presidency.
No, don't let them have it, Kitty. Don't let them have it.
I gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest, whether I like the facts or not. I found out about my ADHD and my autism after my son was born, which was during the Biden administration because I didn't have no kids during the Trump administration.
Damn,
I had them all in Biden.
Then
Oh
he
my
came
God.
back.
Anyway, so speaking of having babies and why I would never have babies during a Trump administration, because guess what? Ectopic pregnancies don't care if you're red, blue, purple, green, what the fuck ever. They don't give a shit. They just exist in all freaking uteruses, which, well, technically outside, intrauterine ectopic pregnancies can happen anywhere in the goddamn body. I don't know if you've ever watched Grey's Anatomy, but that thing where she grew a baby on her liver, yeah, that's an ectopic pregnancy. You know how it killed her? Yeah, that happens. And it happens to women everywhere. It doesn't matter what state you're in. This Florida congresswoman who happens to share a nickname with me, fuck you, Kat Kamak. Yeah, that's Call of Duty. You see, he plays Call of Duty. Those other fuckers want to do it in real life, and they can be on the front lines of this goddamn war. Anyway, so she had trouble receiving quality care because doctors did not want to risk their licenses or, time in jail because of Florida's abortion bans.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, thoughts and prayers. Anyway, what's on TV? Tacos and tariffs. Tacos and tariffs, buddy. I don't know what to tell you about that. What I do, I don't have, I'm sorry, Kat from Florida, I genuinely am glad that you were able to receive the life-saving care that you did, because an ectopic pregnancy is deadly. And the fact that you were able to receive life-saving care should not be at all undermined. You need life-saving care, whether you are a Republican, whether you are a Democrat. Blaming the lack of care on the Democrats is a full-blown fuck you. Fuck you.
She found
fuck
a way.
you, fuck
There
you,
wasn't
fuck
a
you.
way.
To try to blame the Democrats who have been out there screaming that this would fucking happen, that women have been dying, and your white privileged ass has the audacity to claim that it is the Democrats when you voted for fucking legislation that made this happen. This is your fault. Fuck around, find out. I am pissed.
Hey.
Because of people like you who are incapable of understanding that your own actions put you where you are. Adriana Smith, I had to watch as her 7-year-old son Chase sobbed and held her body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
that
guttural.
Child's cries, that guttural scream will live in my brain for the rest of my life. And it will alter his everything.
Yeah.
Because Adriana Smith was already dead. Her body was decomposing. This was an experiment to see how long a fetus could survive in a decomposing body. And apparently the answer is around 24 to 26 weeks, because that is when an emergency situation occurred that required them to remove the fetus from her body. I hate calling it an emergency cesarean, but unfortunately, whether the procedure is done on a corpse or a live person, it is still called a cesarean. That is the name of the procedure. It's an autopsy would involve other things that were not done at the time of the surgery. So I understand the emotions behind wanting to call it birth via autopsy, but semantics aside, words matter. And while I will say the fetus was removed from her, I do not like saying that the baby was born via emergency cesarean. The fetus was removed via emergency cesarean. That is the accurate context here. But I also want to give humanity to chance. And every person deserves to be born. So there's an ethical and moral balancing scale here. And I don't want to debate the semantics. I want to debate the fact that this never should have happened.
Yep.
And specifically, this never should have been an article that I had to write, because it should have been a private matter between Adriana's family and her doctor. This never should have been an issue of Adriana's family couldn't do whatever Adriana wanted, which was she had a do not resuscitate, is my understanding. I have not confirmed that. Sorry. Friday, June 13th at around 4:41 a.m. is when the surgery took place. The news of the birth was delayed until Monday. So that is when, after her emergency cesarean took place. Her 31st birthday was marked by a reproductive rights rally on Sunday, June 15th. And on Tuesday, June 17th, at around 2 p.m., is when Adriana was finally let off life support to pass as peacefully as possible given the circumstances. Chance was a micropreemie, which basically means he was never able to know his mother's scent, his mother's touch, his mother's skin, because it's impossible. I encourage everybody to search up what a micropreemie looks like, what a baby born at around 24 weeks looks like, what a baby under 2 pounds looks like. Because I can tell you, my son was born at 5 pounds 2 ounces, and he was 4 pounds 14 ounces when we left the hospital, and he was born at 36 weeks. This baby is knowing nothing but pain and suffering, and that is inhuman. It is wrong. It is just wrong that this choice was taken from everybody involved. You can read more about it on our Substack. Adriana's mother, April, did say that she's never said that they would have terminated the pregnancy. It's not that the baby was unwanted. It's very much that the choice was taken. And on top of that, Adriana should have received care. She was denied care. She was denied care that she should have had. And that is horrible, because 2 boys now don't have their mother. And Chase's cries. If you have not heard that and you are pro-life, you need to go watch that boy, and you need to tell me you're still pro-life after watching what that boy went through. I'm done.
Yeah, it's a video you need to watch, whether you're pro-life or not. Everybody should.
It's tough.
Everybody should listen to it. I know it's tough, but everybody should. Let's go into the ICE update for this week. So, USA Today put out a map, and that map shows exactly where local police are teaming up with ICE to conduct raids. And there's more than 600 local police agencies that are partnering with ICE. And these partnerships mean local cops aren't just enforcing city laws, they're actively helping ICE with their crackdowns. And I know some of you are clocking it, because when you're out and you see it happening, you are watching the police work with them and help take down civilians. So yes, what you're seeing is true. And then we also have 2 separate ICE detention or processing centers that are under the radar this week. So we have the in California. I believe it's the Adelanto. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correct. And it is a detention center that they've been trying to see for months. That they finally got eyes on today. And it's run by a private prison company called the GEO Group. And the lawmakers who visited, they found detainees going more than 10 days without clean clothes, forced to eat molded food, and living in unsanitary and degrading conditions. This facility holds 1,200 people, and many of them are asylum seekers or individuals who have already won the right to stay. And we know that that means nothing anymore, apparently. And the company is claiming that they're meeting standards like the ICE standards, but those standards aren't enough to keep people healthy. And this is also happening in Texas. There is a family detention center in South Texas, and children are fighting for water. Children are being denied medical care. Water. Children are fighting over water in the United States, in concentration camps, because that's what they are. That's what they are. What child should not have access to water? Well, what child should be in a concentration camp? This is all happening under this administration. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. And I don't want to hear that this is about illegal. Nobody's illegal on stolen land. I don't even want to hear that, because the amount of cases that I'm about to talk about one where this person is a legal U.S. citizen and they just didn't like that he was in the way. So I don't want to hear it. I really don't. These are deplorable conditions. And if you live in California, you live in Texas, or you're just outraged by this, you don't have to live there to call. But you should be calling, and you should be saying that that is disgusting behavior. Disgusting behavior. On to some better news. Mahmoud Khalil was released this week. And I will say that I had a moment, because if we talked about it earlier with Chase and those cries, then I saw this side where Mahmoud Khalil finally met the baby he didn't even get to watch be born. The wife that had a high-risk pregnancy that he didn't even get to stay with while she gave birth. So they got their meeting, or them being reunited, and it was heartwarming but also heartbreaking. So this is the Columbia grad student. He is a Palestine activist, and they locked him up for no fucking reason, all because he said words. And he spent 3 months locked up in a detention center. He wasn't even allowed to, again, go be with his wife during her pregnancy or during the birth of their child. But a federal judge ordered his release, and the ruling was clear. There was no fighting that. There was no fighting it. And he got to meet the baby, and that's a big deal. But the fight is not over. The Trump administration slammed the decision, and they are going forward trying to get an appeal. I don't think it's going to happen. The judge was very clear, so I don't think it's going to happen. But it's not cut and dry. They can go for an appeal. The appeals court has to hear it. So of course we will continue to update you guys. I'm just saying I don't think this is going to go any further. I really think that we're done here, and that he can finally just be with his family, and hopefully, he's already spoken out about the conditions, which of course we've heard from multiple people who have been released on the conditions that they faced. And He's speaking out, and I hope that everyone continues to speak out, and they don't have to, because the conditions they faced, I'm sure it's just heartbreaking to even talk about, let alone process outside of it. But we will keep you updated if there is any further movement with appeals. The next one I want to talk about is something that has me just angry. Adrian Martinez was detained in one of the LA kidnapping raids. He is a legal US citizen, and he was watching them try to detain a maintenance worker at Walmart and said, "Not on my watch. You're not going to be abducting someone in broad daylight in front of my eyeballs." But Adrian didn't hit anyone. He didn't pull out a weapon. He didn't do anything except just place a trash can in front of an unmarked truck, because they all drive unmarked vehicles, to try to stop them from leaving the scene. Because it's fleeing the scene of a crime. So he put the trash can there. All of them, it's on video, all of them jump out of their cars, tackle him to the ground, pull guns on him, arrest him, and detain him. He is a legal US citizen who is now facing federal charges for placing a trash can in front of a car. He didn't touch anyone. He didn't damage any property. All he did was try to stop an abduction in broad daylight. And now he's facing federal charges. And when his family reached out, it was like the same thing with Ernesto, another legal citizen. When their family reaches out, they're like, "Good luck paying that bond."
That's a hostage.
So a lot of people are calling reps, attorney general's office, stating that all these charges need to be dropped and he needs to be released. Unfortunately, he has not been released as of today, but his story was very suppressed. I'm just now seeing more of it on the timeline, so I'm really hoping that with the amplification of the story, that more people call in and maybe we can push more. This is something I would push. I would be calling and I would be saying, on what grounds should he be facing federal charges for placing a trash can in front of a car? Riddle me that. So we will keep you updated on it, but I just want to say, everyone who screams that this is about illegal immigrants, I'm quoting it if you're not watching me, because nobody's illegal on stolen land. This was a legal US citizen. They just didn't like that he rained on their parade. Next, the update. This is the person who started this all for us, really. I mean, we started this ICE weekly update because of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and we are kind of watching a full circle. It is, again, I'm going to preface that this is not the full circle we want, but a judge has ordered his release while awaiting his trial, because he's not a danger to the community. He's not a flight risk. He's not going anywhere, because this judge actually read the case. But instead of respecting the judge's decision, ICE is already standing by, ready to snatch him the second he walks out. Because apparently that can happen. It doesn't matter that he's already been illegally disappeared once. They want to do it again. Because they realize, Pam Bondi, she realizes the pickle she has gotten herself into. And I think that they want a little takesies backsies, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they want to run it back because they realize once this goes to trial, they have no fucking case. And the public scrutiny, they can't handle it. Especially not if we're about to go to war. Can't have this on here too. So I think that's what this is. I think that they're trying to wait for him, get him out of here again, and pretend the trial was never going to happen. But there is another hearing on Wednesday to figure out his release conditions. It might be pointless if ICE is going to be waiting outside. So I think we'll have to see how that plays out. I don't know if that's going to be brought up in the hearing on Wednesday. That's like, what about this? But he does have a really good legal team. Really good. They have been amazing, amazing so far. So I'm really hoping that they do whatever they can to keep him safe. And I really, really hope that what they're trying to do cannot and will not happen. But as always, we will keep you updated because we don't really get any information until Wednesday on the hearing. But it usually happens fast. It was the same thing with Jimena. Like, she had her hearing and she was home that night. So if it does happen, it happens fast. We will write about it on Substack and post a TikTok video if you want to hear about it right away. But that is our ICE update for the week. They are trying to meet quotas now, and I will say that earlier last week they said they were going to stop raids in farms, restaurants, and they quickly walked that back because Trump said it, and then Stephen Miller said no, 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 nope, nope. So now it is back on. They are back to full on raiding wherever they want. So in case you didn't hear that update, that has been walked back. They are back to their normal, and now they have a higher quota because they're going broke. They are broke. I'm talking broke, or they're going to be extra broke in July. So now they're like meeting super high quotas. So just so you
They're
know,
$1 billion over budget.
$1 billion.
$1 billion with a B.
Jeez, I wonder why.
But this leads us into the do not comply in advance, which has to do with ICE, and it is great. It is great. Devin, you want to do the do not comply in advance?
So ICE tried to pop up in the like the parking lot, the area to park at the LA Dodgers stadium. They tried to gain access, and the Dodgers were like, no, get the fuck out of here. Why are you here? Get out. Why you're gonna come into our parking lot and try to round up people and take away the potential money that's gonna come in here? Even if it wasn't like, I'm sure the morality part was there, but even if it wasn't, that's fucking with their bottom dollar.
Oh, yeah, the
So
chaos it would cause.
no matter
So much
no
chaos.
matter how you're gonna cut it, that wasn't gonna happen.
And they snitched on them. They didn't even just say
Yeah.
go away and keep it. They said we're posting that shit. They said these
Yeah.
people just tried to come in here and we're not fucking having that shit. They snitched.
Yep. They snitched. They said these motherfuckers, they're right here, and then they pledged $1 million. Your Honor,
Your Honor, right here. 911.
right to jail, and then they pledged $1 million to help all immigrant families because I mean they're under attack right now, so I don't think they take kindly to invaders, and that's what we need to call them.
And their
The
game still
government
went
is
on.
invading.
They were like,
Yeah,
by
their
the
game.
way, we shooed them away and the game's still on. And we pledged $1
Yeah.
million. So game on.
Yeah, don't come
But
back
it was
here.
so funny that they snitched. They were like,
Yeah.
hi
Hilarious.
everyone. I just tried to like park it in our lot and we said, turn those
And we
wheels
said,
around.
get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
I said, get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
We're not doing it.
But we usually have Kitty do political tarot on a politician, but because of everything that's happening and because we know you're all spiraling, we thought, that Kitty should just do a tarot read for the war.
The war. The
war.
Iraq.
Period.
Oh, wait. No, I mean Iran war because it's basically the fucking same thing. Whatever.
We just changed the letter. That's all.
We just changed the letter in a slight location. It's fine. So you guys will know why this is significant. Yeah, that popped up. The Queen of Joints reversed. I'm using my pot tarot deck, by the way, if you couldn't guess. I'm mostly just gonna read out of my. You kind of saw as I was flipping through them. I'm just gonna read through my thing. Hopefully, it'll calm everybody the fuck down a little bit. I think. So, reverse, the Queen of Joints further underscores the strength of your convictions and the extent of your self-knowledge. Even in the face of petty challenges from outsiders, you're learning and believing you're worth more than ever. If you need to take your joint and retreat into the corner for a little introspection, then go for it. This is underscored by the past, which is the Eight of Bongs, which popped up again. I did a test reading before this. So the Queen of Joints and the Eight of Bongs both showed up in that test reading. Okay. So the Eight of Bongs is a harbinger of transition, ushering in the need to let go and move on. That boredom and restlessness you've been feeling is a sign. But dramatic exits aren't your style. I don't know. Maybe they fucking are. Timing is everything. You'll know when to leave, whether it's a project, a situation, or a relationship. I don't know. We probably ought to have already left. Maybe that's why he was like, let's do peace now. I fucked up.
I fucked up.
I missed.
I fucked up. I fucked up.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have guessed based on the fucking judgment card.
Be judging today, that judgment card.
Which also came up in my test poll, although in the other direction. So the judgment card suggests that not only are you holding on to the past, but also that it isn't serving you, and karma has you stuck in the learn and grow cycle you seem to be resisting. Really? No. This is a cycle? Just deadpan stare. I can't. Acceptance of the past is key to peace in the present and hope going forward. Accept the fucking past. So what underscores the present is the Knight of Bongs reversed. I fucking love these cards, man. Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with being a romantic, but when you let your emotions run the show, Taco, things can get disappointing pretty quickly. Mood swings, jealousy, fear of commitment. This is a good time to take a step back and relax, perhaps with your own flower-filled bong. Taco, I think you need to cool down a little bit because your karma ain't looking so good. Look, the back of the card is even orange. The back of the card is even orange. The future, another orange card, is the Fool. So again, this is for the war. So it's not for a person. That last card hinted at why we're in this fucking position. But the future for the war is the Fool. Don't be well fooled. This card is not an admonition of any sort. Rather, the Fool is all of us as we set out. Innocence, braving the unknown. Taking a calculated risk on a new beginning. A leap of faith. Buying your first baggie, if you will. There is plenty of reason for optimism and promise. And that is underscored by the King of Bongs. The King of Bongs is the man. It's definitely not Trump. And we all know the value of a strong and sturdy bong. Charismatic and mature, he both rules the emotions and provides stability and balance. Is this the ideal romantic partner you seek? The partner you could be? Regardless, he wants you to follow your heart and your intuition, whether it's in love or life.
Him and Netanyahu?
No, this is a wise and thoughtful leader.
Oh, we don't have one of those.
It's charismatic and mature. Who said it's American? This is about the fucking war. It's very likely not an American. Just saying. And I asked for like a central message card. The Hierophant reversed. I can flip to the right card, I swear to God. Okay. While a more traditional reading might focus on religious orthodoxy, the pot smoker's takeaway may be more about recognizing the drive for a higher path or purpose. Geez, there we go. We're talking self-realization and spiritual development. Oh, wait, I'm talking about the Hierophant in reverse, not upright. Reversed, the Hierophant warns of poor leadership, incompetence, or egotism in your path. Seek your own course, follow your own spirit, be you. Frankly, the message that I got with this card when it first popped out was to ignore the traditional systems, to go against the grain, to... We've fucking been here before, because if you're a millennial, you know, just 2003, you know. Need I say more? The whole time. I swear to God. I mean, I know I was actually in the gifted and talented classes, so I took, real critical thinking classes while the regular kids did not, I guess. But we talked about the Iraq war in my like 5th grade and up class all the fucking time. In 5th grade, we would routine, like every year, starting in like 4th or 5th grade, we would watch the recordings of the Twin Towers.
Sheesh.
And we would write papers on it.
Yeah.
I was in fucking kindergarten when that shit happened. What the fuck do I know? Was I kindergarten, 1st grade? I don't remember. 1st grade. I was going into 1st grade. Yeah. So, I had to ask my mom today or yesterday. I'm like, what happened 9/11? Because I don't remember if this was a point where I was homeschooled or not. It was in between this time period. And she's like, well, we shut down the flea market, which was weird. She worked at the Daytona Beach flea market. So if you're from Daytona Beach, you know that shutting down the fucking flea market is fucking weird. They don't do that.
Hey.
Well, all right, guys, you're good with the political tarot and the war, and everybody can calm down, and we're not gonna spiral, okay?
We're not gonna do
But
that.
we're gonna close this out because we're almost at an hour. You
I'm
want to
curious who
do
this is.
The hot mess
Hot
index?
mess index. Yep, we have the Democrats who did not co-sponsor the anti-war bill that Thomas Massie, the Republican, brought to the floor because Trump didn't get congressional approval, which is what is completely necessary to attack somebody. The Democrats that did not sponsor the bill was, no shock, my arch nemesis, Hakeem Jeffries, Adam Schiff, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. She's on my spreadsheet, like,
Oh
in
yeah,
a
she's
lot of red.
always
So
voting
that
against
doesn't
shit.
shock me. Jared Moskowitz, he's in red on my shit. This one hurt me. Melanie Stansberry.
Our redhead queen.
I might have to pull her black card. I am hurt. I love Melanie Stansberry, and she betrayed me. She is my traitor in the chat.
It makes me wonder if there was something in there worth saying no to when there's somebody who is... You know what I mean?
That they did
That
one of their
I would-
sneaky little things
No,
where they
I
try
would say
to
no.
bury something. Yeah.
Not in this case scenario, especially if Jasmine,
I hadn't looked at it
AOC,
yet.
Sarah Jacobs, they all voted yes. They're all part of that girl power group. It doesn't make sense that Melanie didn't vote with the women she proudly stands
Which
with.
is why it triggers my like, I want to
My
know
thing
why.
is, if there
I want to know
was,
why.
then Jasmine wouldn't have voted for it, then AOC wouldn't have voted for it, then Sarah Jacobs wouldn't
That's
have
still
voted
making
for it.
assumptions. So I just want to know why.
I just think that some
I
of
guess
them
we'll
are
find
bought
out.
and paid for in certain ways. I do, and Melanie is
Pay it back.
not an exception, unfortunately.
Gotta check that lobbying tracker.
Yeah, we got to look more into it. We can't assume at this point that there's some smoke and mirrors. It might just be what it was with Hakeem, what it is with people like Cory Booker, what it is with Jared Moskowitz, that some of them, they come out and they make it seem like they're for you, but not on everything. No. Sometimes they're bought and paid for. And even if she didn't like something, I know her. I've been following her for a long time. If she didn't agree with something, she would have came out and said exactly why she has not co-sponsored it. So something's fishy there, and we're all going to find out. We're all going to find out. And then I will add to that they said, oh, well, they're out of session. They're out of session today. They're back in tomorrow. So they've had since the 20th when most people co-sponsored. So it's not like because they were out for a date that Melanie, she would have done on the 20th, 21st. No.
Hurt me, Mel.
And if they try to do the whole, well, they're on recess. Well, they're supposed to be meeting with constituents on recess.
You can co-sponsor while you're on recess.
Yeah.
That is still a thing. Same as like, even if they're at like war that things don't happen, things still do happen.
Yeah. Everything doesn't pause.
Yes. But Melanie, you're on our shit list and we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure you out, girl. Because that's not it. But ending out the week, we have Yes, That Really Did Happen. And this week was obviously, wow. So let's get into it. Number one, Yes, That Really Did Happen. While we're waiting, I mean, just scrolling on Aaron Parnas, refreshing every 5 seconds to see if we're going to war, Trump decided, I want to show off my flagpoles. So he made his way to the front lawn, huffing and puffing. He could not breathe. The man couldn't make a sentence. He was huffing and puffing, standing still, talking about how they're the best polls ever. And it's very funny because this is speculation. Obviously, we don't have any proof, but they believe the polls were made mostly in Canada, which is so fucking funny.
I think his poll is about that big, just saying.
Yeah, and they're the best polls. And he did make what he believed was a funny haha, and turned to the workers behind him, asking if any of them had illegal immigrants in their families, and then laughed and said, never mind, I don't want to ruin your day. So, yeah, that was number one. Second, apparently, the People's Sick Day is being funded by billionaires. Apparently, we're just getting handed money directly from George Soros into Caress's
I
hand.
want that money so I could get off WIC, please. That would be nice.
Backstory to this, the People's Sick Day, you hear us talk about it all the time. It is a 3-day labor and economic blackout that we have been pushing. And the creators, Caress and Angel, two brilliant Black women who have put their entire self into tirelessly working to do this, building this movement, strike, what have you. And we were able to get a larger creator, the People Us. She is amazing. She made a video on this, just kind of helping spread the word. And the leftists who don't think we can do anything right, got in there and said that we paid the People Us to make the video, ran to another leftist creator who's got like 20K, nothing crazy, but still a following and a platform. And she decided that morning, instead of reaching out to us, instead of doing any research, that she was going to put out a video saying that the No Kings and the National Sick Day were being funded by billionaires. So we all obviously rushed there to clarify, and we thought she'd be like, oh crap, sorry, this person gave me bad intel. No, she doubled down 7 times in follow-up videos saying that we were mean, and she had proof, and then she posted her proof. She quite literally posted ChatGPT with a Fox News source that said nothing about the People's Sick Day. And then she made a video saying, look, I didn't even do the full research. I just put out what I had, and said that it wasn't important to her and she had to get her hair done because, and this is a white lady, a white woman. And yeah, it was bad. And thankfully, nobody looked at it because she's not that relevant. But it was just really funny. It was really funny because we don't play when it comes to our community.
We're also popular enough now to get a gossip chain about us. Oh my God.
And it's so funny because the number one thing they always say is, oh, they're being paid. Oh, they're being paid. And it's just so funny because, guys, we're not getting paid for this podcast. They're not getting paid for the People's Sick Day. And our critical thinking needs to be used here for a second. Why would we need funding for a sick day where all we're doing is telling you to stay the fuck home for 3 days? What funding would we need for that?
Billionaires have companies with employees. Why would they want them?
Why would they want them to stay home and pay us to have them stay home? No, this is quite literally a movement that goes against what these big funding companies would want. Of course, like protests like No King's Day probably is funded. It probably is. But to put our name with it with no proof and no research and then say that we're yelling, she literally wouldn't respond to anyone except for one of our mods who is a white woman. I'm saying I was in there, but because we're the podcast, she probably was like,
I
"Oh,
think
it was Devin." She wouldn't respond to me.
Hannah's Hispanic. But
Hannah is
I think
Hispanic,
she
but
just,
like she kind of
but
just like was like, and she was like,
White
"Well, you're
passing.
the one that's not yelling at me." And then everyone was like, "Oh, so all the black people are yelling at you in the comments." And
She went full
she
white
really
woman.
just dug the hole and ended up blocking us all. And I reported her videos because she is a singer. So I reported all of her videos of her singing while driving for dangerous activity.
Yeah.
I'm fucking
Her
so
singing's
petty.
trash.
Petty Cancer. You're
I'm
such a
so
petty Cancer.
petty.
I'm over here a Libra, like, whatever, no big deal. And you're
No,
like,
you should not
I
be
reported her videos.
Recording while driving. You should not be doing that, and especially singing off key like that. And I can say that because I have a degree to back that up. Okay.
Stick to your karaoke singing, Sarah.
Sarah, just so you know, you're not watching this, but your Blue-Lusional fans, they did you so dirty and you believed them. They did you
And
so
let's
dirty.
be real, anything that's being funded is being self-funded. It's
Yeah.
volunteers who are
So
putting
yes,
up their
that
own
really did
fucking
happen.
money.
A sick day is
yeah.
apparently being funded by billionaires. That's next we have Trump because he can't just like shut the fuck up. Now he's got a phone that he wants to sell.
He doesn't even have it yet.
Doesn't even have it yet, and he wants it made here, obviously in the US, which would cost on average $2,000 to make because we can't do shit. And I don't know why he won't just understand that. But apparently it's going to be the best phone ever. Best phone ever. Best
It
signal
looks like
because
the
it's made here in
TikTok
the US.
phone.
It's gonna have
It
such
looks
good
like that
signal.
mini fake Samsung phone.
Not as many
the mini
updates.
fake one.
So yeah, look out for that coming in hot. Might be on pause because of the war, but it's coming. And it's definitely not bugged. And then my fan favorite, the one that I think is the winner, is that Trump this week said that he deserves 4 or 5 Nobel Peace Prizes. And then he bombed Iran 3 times 10 hours later.
It's not funny.
I ran on a
Peace
campaign of no wars. I'm going to end all the wars. 24 hours. We're going to end all the wars. Oh, shit. 158 days later. We're in 3
Not
wars
even.
now.
He said Nobel Peace Prize. It's even about the no wars. This is about him saying I need 4 or 5 Nobel Peace Prizes. Peace. And then bombing
I just
Iran 3 times 10 hours later.
They didn't respond fast enough. He said, fuck.
He said, wait, okay, never mind, you guys. Not
He
even
dropped a
me.
bomb, one for each war.
And then he missed. They missed.
This.
Then they missed.
He bombed empty places, and he
Just as,
was
like,
like,
this
they were
is just
totally obliterated. They were severely damaged.
Yeah,
Not
the
totally
sand was
obliterated.
really, misplaced because of that. Thoughts and prayers to the
Read
sand.
more about it on Substack.
Yes, and so that's our thing this week. But we haven't said it, and we need to start shamelessly plugging ourselves more because we're just like doing our own damage at this point. But if you're watching this is not the only place where we talk. But if you want to hear us talk in full length, you should be liking, following, sharing, subscribing to the podcast here on Spotify and on YouTube, no matter where you're watching. And comment, because we like to talk to you guys. Comment what you liked about the video. You can even say what you didn't like. We are all about constructive criticism as long as you're not mean and rude about it.
We
But if
even
you are,
have a
we're going to
chat.
roast you the fuck
We're
back.
gonna roast you.
We're gonna
because
roast
it's
you.
Roast you the
season.
fuck back.
Do
For
not
sure.
mess with us. Cancer season, okay? I'm just
But we also have a
saying, be
chat.
careful.
On the
And
Substack, there
then-
is a chat feature, so you can actually go down to any of our articles, and you can join the chat from the articles, and from there you
Yes.
can pop into one of the any of the threads that are already there.
Yes. So let me plug TikTok. We are on TikTok. We're posting multiple times a day on TikTok. We are almost at 10K. 10K. That's crazy. And then we are also on Substack. So that's where Kitty is writing articles. So we're doing the like in front of the camera on TikTok. She is doing the written version. And then we are putting all of that on Blue Sky. So make sure you're following us there. And if you subscribe to Substack, the articles will be emailed to you so you know when those drop. And as always, just continue to support us. And it means a lot to us. We don't know
Diversity,
how.
equity, inclusion,
Diversity, equity,
support
inclusion.
DEI.
Support DEI. We support DEI here. Why won't you?
Support DEI.
Support DEI. Okay. All of our birthdays are coming up. Juneteenth just happened. DEI. It's honestly a hate crime if you don't follow us. Just say you hate us.
There, she
Especially
said
if
it.
you're Max Miller.
Yeah. It's a fucking hate crime. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yes. So I kid. You don't have to
No,
follow us. It's fine.
I'm
But
serious.
We would appreciate it if you did.
we would like it. We're kind of nice people sometimes.
We are. Come and find
Pissed
out.
off. But we'll be back next week with more war updates.
And
we're
hopefully
still
better
here.
news.
Just kidding. We will be here, guys. Okay,
We will be
we're
here.
not gonna get
We will be.
bombed. But anyways, thank you
Adios.
guys, and have a great week. Bye.